Hey everyone, welcome back. Ape Century here. Today we're going to talk about Survivor 50, episode 4. So let's get straight into this. So first thing we see is the talent show going on with Rizzo's tribe, and it's a fun moment. It's between Rizzo, Jonathan, Charlie, and then Rick. And so what they're doing is they're going to do different things for these judges who are their other castmates, and they're going to do some sort of talent to try and win. Just a fun moment. I thought that Rizzo's impersonation was clearly the best, and some people thought that Jonathan and Charlie were snubbed. I didn't really see it. And then Rick did like a juggling act, which was fun, So it was just a fun moment. And then we get to Aubrey's situation and Genevieve, where Aubrey's in the woods trying to look for something. She says she was gone for 5 minutes and just went out there, and then Genevieve comes out yelling her name and is like, Aubrey, Aubrey. And Aubrey's like, the heck with this. So she goes back to camp. Well, Genevieve took that moment for herself and looked for an idol. Lo and behold, she found one, got her second Billie Eilish Boomerang idol. And she gives it to Rizzo in the hopes that he's going to be voted out, and then she'll get the idol herself. I do think it's funny that Genevieve has found 2 idols and doesn't have one. And the person she's trying to get out is Aubrey. She has no idea that Aubrey has an idol. And so that could be a factor. They obviously aren't liking each other, so it's something to keep an eye on. And then we get to an early immunity challenge because, well, it's immunity and reward. And it's because of the reward of why it's early. Zach Brown decides to show up. Country music artist, and he's gonna be chilling back at their camp and doing some spear fishing. And then he's going to just hang out, cook for him, sing songs. And so we get to that. And the tribe with Joe, Coach, Tiffany, Chrissy, Colby, Genevieve, and Aubrey win. And, I liked it. I thought it was something chill. It was something unique. It was something different. And honestly, it did. Yeah, it went on a little long. We didn't need to see him spearfishing. I don't think that was. No one really wanted to see that part because, and part of it was that it was only him doing that. Why didn't he take like other people out and teach them how to do it or something like that? That would have been cooler instead of just seeing him in the ocean. But by and large, I thought it was, fun. He did 2 songs. He performed that one original and I think one cover. And those were both fun. So, yeah, it went on a little long. He had more confessionals in one episode than Tiffany has had all season. And so that's interesting. But I thought it was fine. I thought it was a good moment. So, and then we get to the big news, which is that so Vatu, I think, loses their they lose again with the immunity challenge, right? And so this is the tribe with Ozzy, Christian, Emily, Mike, Angelina, Stephanie. And essentially Ozzy, Christian, and Emily have gone to every tribal council at this point and survived. So it is something that they keep losing, and they're not voting out the people that are causing them to go to tribal, right? The whole season. So that's interesting. So basically the votes were between. It was originally going to be either Emily or Angelina was the starting point, and then Mike is saying to everyone, "Well, Angelina's not a threat. That there's no reason to go for it. We got to go after Emily." And Christian's like, "Okay, yeah, I hear you." Finally, Mike is like, "I'm going to manipulate the situation. I got to do whatever I got to do." So he decides to tell Christian, "Look." You wanting to keep Emily and not seeing her as a threat is exactly what was happening in David versus Goliath with Gabby. And I saw other people saying, like, why did Christian go after Mike? It wasn't a logical move. You know, you could have just went after Stephanie and that would have been an easy move. Here's the thing. He went after Mike because Mike said that. It hit home for him. He cried. It was emotional. And he even said, like, I haven't cried about it in 7 years. You know, he has to wonder, why Mike said that. And then I think ultimately he decided that Mike can get you to do whatever he wants. And he saw him as a threat. Honestly, he was one of the biggest threats. And so people are saying, like, well, it's too early. Not really. It's the same thing with brackets, right? So whenever you have, let's say you have like a 16 team bracket or whatever of anything. And there's an early matchup that you think could be a finals matchup. And it goes out, let's say like Snickers went out in the first round of a candy bracket at round one, and when they could be in the final or whatever. Look, at some point, someone has to go. Whether it's a bracket, survivor, whether it's early or not, it's fine. At some point, someone has to go. So that's why I always say, like, I think it's fine. I think he saw Mike as a threat. Yeah, Angelina's not a threat, so why would you vote her off? So she was never going to go home there. He wasn't going to vote out Ozzy because you need tribe strength, right? He wasn't, and honestly, like, no one really looked at Stephanie because Mike said that. So Mike made it apparent. He made himself essentially be voted out. Like he threw his weight around and was overconfident. He even said that in his exit interview that, yeah, he was overconfident. He thought that he could have the votes and get away with it. And Christian said, no, you're not. And I'm going to take control of this and vote you out. And that's what happened. And as far as the Emily situation, look, like he told Emily, the plan's going to be Mike. It's going to be me, you, and Stephanie. We're going to vote Mike. Don't tell Ozzy. Ozzy comes back to Tribal. First thing she says is, hey, they're trying to vote me out. Just letting you know. So, and he's like, well, the plan's Angelina, right? And so luckily she didn't spill the beans too much, but she tried to, she almost like, you can't trust her at this point. I mean, she's a liability. I mean, everything you tell her, she's just going to tell somebody else. So, but I think ultimately Christian knew that Emily wouldn't turn on her, whereas Mike would. And by the way, this lowers the threat level of the DVG. There was 3 of them on one tribe. You don't think the other tribes are looking over there and saying, hey, that could be dangerous going into the merge, right? So we gotta cut that. Now it's down to 2, and so honestly, it was a good move from Christian. I totally support it, right? So yeah, that was episode 4. It was pretty nice and easy. I mean, a lot of it was Zach Brown and yeah, the big thing was Mike blindside, big turnout, but things like that happen, and so we'll see where it goes from here. I believe next week there's going to be a double vote out, so we'll see how that goes. I think only one tribe's going to have immunity. There's still only 19 people, so but there's still a lot of episodes left. I think we can rest assured there's going to be some episodes with some double vote outs. But yeah, I'm having fun with the season, and look, we'll catch you back for episode 5. Take care.